Hi and welcome to Two Worlds Better from Oulton Park in Cheshire, and we're with the Reve Racing Team. The last time we were with Ben Atkins, the owner of Reve Racing, we were at Laverda Park. And that was a test session, excuse these bikes, that was a test session before the season started. But Ben, since then, you've lost a rider, Steve Hislop. Now, can I just ask you, is there any truth to the matter? He was seen drinking in the Isle of Man with young Paul and Wayne?
As bad as they are, I think it'd take more than them to lead him astray. Yeah, no.
What actually happened there? A pretty sad move, I should think.
Yeah, I mean, I got to know Steve last year, and he came almost part of the family, my own family, and the family have got a lot of time for him. We just weren't producing the results with him. That's in a nutshell. We did everything we could for him, and things just didn't work out. So, in the end, although it was a bit of a difficult decision to make, you can't shirk those responsibilities, and we had to make the decision to let Steve go. But hopefully he'll find himself another ride and have a successful end to his season this year.
Because he did fit in well. When I interviewed them both at the beginning of the season, he and John got on well, didn't they?
Yeah, and they still do, and there's been no internal problems in the team at all. He's tried everything. I mean, we've tried everything, and he's tried everything. He's just found it very difficult to come to terms with the 996 Ducati. And, I wished I knew what the problem was, but to put it right, and he would still be with us now.
Yeah, but one of those things. So, moving on, Ian Simpson, your second runner. Well, not so much second runner, but you also run him in the production series.
Yeah, Ian's leading the Power Bike production series now by about 20-odd points. He's been very good. I like to reward loyalty, and I'm hoping that after today's test session on the bike that he'll come through and want to ride the bike at Oulton in the next race.
We're halfway through the season now, 5 races, or is it 6 gone now?
5, I think,
yeah.
I hope.
But John's been getting some cracking results, some misfortunes, some tumbles, but he's been doing well. You must be pleased with John.
Yeah, I mean, the team have had to rely wholly on professionalism. We've had no luck at all. Lady Luck's just not been with us. We've had a difficult time getting to grips with the bikes. I mean, the Ducati is a fabulous motorcycle, but it's totally different to anything else on the circuit, as you probably know. So we've had a massive steep learning curve to get up. John's actually produced the goods for us, even when the bike hasn't been in a position to produce those sort of goods. So he's had a great season so far. I think we're about 60-odd points behind Mackenzie at the moment, but I firmly believe that we can still peg that back. There's enough points to be winning the championship, and I'm confident we can go forward and still win the championship.
In your enthusiasm, obviously, haven't been dampened then. You still managed a smile.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, obviously we found it particularly unpleasant, with the situation with Steve. I mean, it's been very difficult for the team because you've had John performing really well, and you've had the elation of the team for John, and then we've had to temper that with a little bit of sort of despondency, really, with Steve. And it's not been pleasant for Steve that John's been doing so well. But I mean, he's come through. His character is strong, and he's a good guy. And I really want to get across to the public that, we didn't want to do it. It was a situation that was forced on us, and he deserves a good ride now, and I'm sure he can produce the goods for another team. I'm convinced of it.
Is it too early to ask for sort of plans for next year? I mean, you've done a lot of groundwork with Ducatis, so you're sticking with Ducatis for next year?
Yeah, I mean, the signs are at the moment. I'm very happy with Ducatis. It's whether Ducati are going to be happy with us by the end of the season, but the intention is to go forward with Ducati next year. I mean, obviously, I've made no secret of the matter. I want to get into World Superbike. But, I mean, if I said another season in British Superbike next year, it certainly wouldn't bother me. Change the rear tyre.
John Reynolds, man of the moment, certainly the man of today. John, you've really been flying out there. How's things going?
Yeah, pretty well, Jeff. The last time we raced here, it was a wet weekend, so we haven't really got any dry settings. So it's ideal, actually. We can get out here with the lads and get some quick times in.
You certainly look wet enough, but that's just perspiration.
Yeah, it's a warm day, isn't it?
Tell me, John, how have things been going this year? I mean, I've been following your progress. You've had the odd tumble, but you've had some good positions as well. A couple of firsts, is it?
Yeah, I mean, when we've been on it, we've either won or we've certainly finished on the rostrum. I've had a couple of DNFs through crashes and silly things, really. But all in all, the season's going good. The Red Bull Ducati's flying, and the team's working well. I'm loving every minute of it.
And have you found a difference in the bikes? Again, I've been following it, you know, been changing chips and whatnot. This has slowly brought it up to, or quickly brought it up to what you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's been quite a long process, really. We've, as I say, been working with different chips and ignition systems and stuff, but we've also done a lot of work with Michelin, with the tyres, and also sorting the geometry of the bike out to suit the way I ride it.
Yeah, the way you ride it is just something else. I mean, you were getting the front wheel up coming over that hill, weren't you? And it was bloody spectacular.
I did that for you, Jeff.
Tell me, can I ask you something about tumbles when you come off? It doesn't seem to deter you at all. I mean, have you trained yourself at this just to ignore the pain or whatever? And do you hit the corner exactly the same next time? Well, not exactly the same, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, usually when you've had a crash, you realise why you've done it and how you've done it. And yeah, I mean, I pride myself, and if I do crash, I'll go faster the next time I'm out there. It's as simple as that, really. But I mean, it's just par for the course, really. It's a tough old game, but.
Yeah, well, I admire you doing it. I thought, do they train themselves at this? You know, but it's just it's the way of the racer's life. That's why racers race, and that's why you're good at it.
Well, maybe. I mean, you know, some people can crash and it puts them off, and as I say, if you know why you've crashed, you hopefully think you're never going to do it again. So that's probably why we get back on them again.
Well, look, you're currently third in the championship, halfway through the season. So what do you think your chances are?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a tough old challenge, really. Neil Mackenzie is very fast and very consistent, but I feel like we need to go out and try and win everything we possibly can do, but of course Neil's got other ideas, and so has probably 15 other riders out there. But.
Well, I won't do a Murray Walker on you and say it looks as though you've got it in the bag, because that would be fatal, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
But anyway, all the best to you for the rest of the season, John.
Thank you, Jeff. Excellent.
Well, I've got with me Ian Simpson. He's already leading the British Production Championships on a Ducati, but now he's in the Superbikes on this one. Ian, you've been going well today.
Yeah, really enjoying it. I've been riding, as you say, the 916 production bike in the Production Championship up until now, and this is my first outing on the Superbike. So I'm really enjoying it, because there's nothing like a Superbike for sheer power and thrills around here.
So how are you finding it? I know you've been setting up today. We've seen you altering the suspension and whatnot. Is it a really big difference between the two?
Yeah, there is. There's a lot more grip on the Superbike, and it's a lot faster, and it ties itself in knots a lot more. So it takes a lot more work to set it up. But the bike's pretty much set up for Steve Hislop, who rode it before me. So I'm just putting it to my sort of specification now, and we're getting there with it. So,
well, certainly talking to Ben, he was actually ecstatic over your performance. He thought you were doing absolutely brilliant. I don't know whether he's told you that yet.
Oh well, I'm trying my best anyway, so I can't.
You'll be after more money, I suppose.
No, I'm just trying my best. So grateful for the chance.
Yeah, you're going to carry on as well in the production class, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll still keep carrying on with that. There's only 4 races left, so hopefully we should have a good chance in that championship.
So you're going to be a busy guy for the rest of the season then?
Yeah, that's right, because we've got a 600 Honda we ride as well, so it's non-stop.
And you getting on well with our man John Reynolds?
I've known John for a long time. I've got a lot of respect for him, so he's a good teammate to have, because when you've got somebody, like a world-class rider like John, it spurs you on a bit to try and basically keep up with him, really.
I just saw his ears perk up then as he walked behind us, but there we are. Well, look, I wish you all the best for the rest of the season, and we shall watch your progress avidly.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Roger Marshall, team manager. What a job to have, Roger. You are a lucky chap. Look, we've just been looking at these super-duper transporters of yours. They must have cost an absolute fortune.
Yeah, it did, Jeff, especially one right behind us. We've got a Renault Magnum towing it, and then the longest trailer you're allowed to have on the road, and to carry the bikes and the spares, and obviously the headsets, radio. We have an office just at the front here, right behind us, and that carries all the computer equipment. We have a TV and video recorder, so we can show the riders the races, analyse techniques on the track, a bit like football managers we're getting, aren't we? And you know, all that sort of thing. And also our PR man Peter Donaldson and Les Thacker, commercial manager, they can work the computers. We can get the press releases out straight after the event on the track, and you know, that's what you have to do in this game. I mean, the smaller truck at the other end, it also carries the spares, and and most importantly, you can mash the tea in there and get the sandwiches to the lads.
Yes, very good tea they make as well in Reve Racing. But this is all part of the support of running a modern race team, isn't it? You've got to have this kit if you want to do well.
Yeah. I mean, it's the image of the team now. It's like the garage. It takes 5 hours to set the garage up, and then, you know, potential sponsors, they want to see where the money's invested, they want to see the job looking right, and we're trying to do it as good as Formula 1 car teams or touring cars, and this is the image now. It's got to. It's
got to be. Well, tell me, just what have you, since I last spoke to you, I know you've done a lot of development work, can you try and sort of encapsulate what you've actually done to the bike? Perhaps one of the biggest one, the ignition chipping, that made a big difference to it.
We've come an awful long way with the chip, Jeff. Yeah, it's knowing what the chip actually does in there is important as well, and the torque curve, it works the fuel injection management system and gives it the fuel at the right part of the throttle. But also with the ProFlex shocks we took on with Wayne Lammy, now works full-time nearly for the team, and lots of little things like we noticed a couple of mods on the fairing, and Chris Mayhew's had a chance to catch up with the engines. We've changed valve timing, found little mods we've done to the engine, and it's a package that's now coming together.
And you've been happy with the tyres all through? You stuck with Michelin's?
Yeah, I'm really pleased we went with them. They've come up with the goods at every meeting, and we've had a little bit of bad luck, and they've stuck by us, and you know, the tyres have been brilliant, and especially on Ian Simpson's production bike. We're leading by 21 points in that championship. Won the Northwest, second at the TT, and you know, that speaks for itself.
And a typical price for these, but I mean, is there such a thing as a price? I mean, I've read they're around £50,000. Is that a starting price?
I'd say that's minimum, because the factory bikes, and they're very well maintained, and it's hard to put a price on them when you can't buy something. So if they did come up for sale, you know, you'd be talking 50,000 upwards.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
After the break, Paul Johnston rides a Laverda 668. And Diane Youdale finds out about motorcycle maintenance.
If you walk along a line of bikes today, you'll probably see most major manufacturers represented. And if you're looking for the Italians, there's bound to be one or two Ducatis on show. But 20 years ago, flying the flag for Italy wasn't Ducati, it was Laverda. Now, Laverdas to me were always the ones that I could never afford, a kind of Italian exotica with big engines and big price tags to match. But that's not quite the case anymore. Here's Charlie Jagger, my Laverda expert from Cobb and Jagger here in Yorkshire. Now, Charlie, Laverda, they've been reborn, have they? They've sort of ceased to exist, now they're back.
That's correct, Paul, yes. In the late 80s, Laverda did close down due to economic problems. The factory's recently been purchased by Mr. Tognon, who is an absolute Laverda fanatic. He intends to put Laverda back on the map where they were in the 70s, and he will spare no expense to do that. He's recruited we've been recently, as you say, to the Laverda factory. The people who he has working for him are just the top-notch people out of Italy. He's recruited people from Ferrari, Lamborghini, from other motorcycle manufacturers, Moto Guzzi, and as I say, his intention is to put Laverda firmly back on the map as a specialist sports thoroughbred Italian motorcycle.
Excellent. Well, you've convinced me already. But I mean, you say he's not sparing anything. He's got everyone that he needs. He's got all the expertise there. But they're not extremely expensive, are they? They're not extortionate.
No, they're not. Laverdas will never ever compete with Japanese bikes in a volume production like Honda or Suzuki or Yamaha, but they're not as expensive in pro rata to what they used to be in the 70s. A bike like this is the top of the range 668, and this costs just under £8,000, which does compare very well for the specification of the bike compared to mainstream Japanese bikes.
Well, it does, because you've got to be paying 9,000, haven't you, for a top Jap?
Oh
these
yes,
days, you know.
yes.
So a bit of Italian exotica in your garage for...
Yes, that's right, yeah.
For £8 grand-ish.
Yeah, very much the Ferrari of motorcycles. It has all the best parts that the Italians can offer come as standard on all Laverdas.
Right, smashing. Well, I noticed the keys are in here.
Yes.
Where did you say that factory was again?
Just near Venice, but why do you...
Well, I just wondered. I think I'll just go and see if I can catch a ferry. Well, it's pretty obvious exactly what this is. The badge on the side says it all. 668 cc's, parallel twin engine, double overhead camshaft, and it's air oil cooled. And this frame, you may have noticed, looks very trick. It's actually designed by a guy called Nico Bakker, who's very famous for designing frames in race bikes. The whole thing about the Laverda is it's full of the latest technology, the latest tricky bits. To the front, you've got upside down forks, white power suspension, very effective, and Brembo 4-pot calipers, and you can stand this thing on its nose, no problem at all. The back, white power suspension again, single monoshock, and very observant people will have noticed that there ain't no hole in the petrol tank. So where does the fuel go? Well, in case you didn't know, like I didn't, it goes in here. The petrol cap filler under the little pillion pad. And one of the best looking Italian rear ends I've ever seen. So what's a 668 like to ride? Well, it's the same as any parallel twin engine really. As soon as you fire it up, you're instantly reminded that you are on a twin cylinder machine. It feels rough, it feels lumpy, and well, it just doesn't quite feel right at the bottom end of the revs. Comes with a 6-speed gearbox, and with that you get at least 5 or 6 different neutral positions, absolutely free of charge. A bit of a pain, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. But this isn't designed for like 40-mile-an-hour town work. Really, it should be on the open road. It's a performance type machine. And above 5,000 revs, everything smooths out, and it really is as good as anything else.
If you're anything like me and bluff your way around knowing a motorcycle, not knowing a spanner from your sprocket basically, then this next slot is just for you. We decided to go from A to Z with an Uncle Jeff's workshop of motorcycle maintenance. Uncle Jeff, what are you going to do with us?
Well, I hope I'm going to show you how a bike works, the little sort of tricks that I've learnt over the years, and just how to look after your bike, keep it well maintained, and just generally tell people how to keep the bike in tip-top condition, and the tools to have so that you can start off properly without spending a fortune. We've got some of them in front of us. And it won't be an in-depth thing, won't be sort of stripping a bike down to minutiae, but it will give you a good overview.
Great.
Will that help you, do you think?
It will help, because I'm still pretty much a novice, and I sit in on conversations and I'm going...
Yes, and at least you're being honest.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a good thing, being honest. Well, look,
what's all this about?
Well, these are my tools. As you can see, they're well used over a fair few years, but that doesn't matter. Just a few basic tools. Perhaps hammers shouldn't be on the top of the thing, but nevertheless they are.
Hey!
This one, well used, a rubber-faced hammer. It means that you don't damage aluminium components, and you can give a wheel spindle a good thump without damaging it. So a very useful bit of kit. The old ball peen hammer, if things are a bit more stubborn. A nice sort of feel to that hammer. You can give things a light tap.
I'll be good honest.
And then these adjustable spanners, people will be familiar with these.
Yep.
Pliers of different sizes. Spanners, of course, which everyone will be familiar with. These are combination spanners, an open-ended and a ring spanner at the other end. Make sure you buy a decent quality kit. You don't want to end up rounding your nuts off, so to speak, if you understand what I mean there. But it's buy some decent kit.
Oh, especially for Diane.
No, put that down. Put that down. That is a little trick of the trade. Again, a broken mirror, taped it up on the edge there. But a mirror can be incredibly useful. Oh, look at that little spot there. It can be incredibly useful on the bike because everything is sort of covered up these days. And if you're trying to find a little screw or a nut or whatever, just put it behind.
Like a dentist.
Shine a light. That's right.
Great.
Shine a light on it. Fine.
What's this?
Other bits. Now this is an impact driver, which you may have heard of.
I've heard of, but I actually quite want to know how it works.
Right, well, a lot of components on the bike, especially the engine components, they're tightened up very tight, and they have stuff on the threads called Loctite, which locks them up, and they can be a devil's own job to get undone. This little gadget, you put a little adapter on the end, or you can fit a socket on the end, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but if we put this adapter on the end there, you can fit a crosshead screw bit in there. So if you've got the screw which is really, be a start if this went in, there it goes, really stubborn, like the bar end weights on the end of the handlebars.
Right.
Do you know what those are for, by the way?
The bar end weights?
Yeah.
No. Weights.
Well, therefore, they're actually to damp out any tingles that you get through the handlebars.
Right.
So they're not just to make it look nice and neat and finish it off or protect the bike if it falls over.
Stabilise the tingling.
Yeah, it's just adds a bit of weight to a hollow tube and stops it tingling. But those screws can be a devil to get undone. You fit that in there, give this a damn good push, which I won't do now, but this has got a spiral thread on it, and so when I say push, I mean hit it with a bloody hammer. Sorry. Put that in there, sharp bang on there, and that just turns that tip just fractionally, but it gets an impact on it, which is why it's called an impact driver, drives that into the middle of the screw and turns it at the same time. If you haven't got that effect, and you were using it as a screwdriver, it tends to ride out the slot.
More tips from Uncle Jeff's workshop soon. Next week, Paul and Wayne discover things even they didn't know were possible with two wheels. And Carl Fogarty and Jeff Stone work out.